none of the tax codes around the world define the term income. Given that they're all taxing income, it seems quite an oversight not to be able to provide a definition of income. That's the most fundamental definition you should be providing. And in most of these codes, the definitions section runs to between 20 and 100 pages of definitions of terms. Nowhere do they define income. They'll define everything else under the sun, they just won't define income. Now the codes I've specifically looked at are the US code, the Australian code, the United Kingdom code, and the New Zealand code. A point comes, you look at enough of them, you say, yep, they're all the same, they're all doing essentially the same thing, which is effectively not providing a definition of income. I'm just going to show you the sort of things that will include in the code. But these are all obfuscation and misdirection. So they define various terms, but I want you to be clear on this. None of these is an actual definition of the term income. Well, we'll start with the US. So here you go. This is United States 26 U.S.C. section 61. There it is. Gross income defined. Gross income means all income. Okay. I just want to point out that's a definition of gross income. That is not a definition of income. And when you see it says, when the definition is gross income means all income, you can stop right there. You can see that that is presuming you already know what income is. I hope that's self-evident. Income not defined in the US code. The UK code, Income Tax Act 2007, section 989, definitions section. Total income. Well, it says has the meaning given by section 23. 23, I've got halfway down, the calculation of income tax liability. We go down to step 1. Identify the amounts of income. The sum of those amounts is total income. So they're not defining income, are they? They're defining total income, which is the sum of all the amounts of income. But they're not telling you what income is. So again, that's not defining income. It's telling you how to, it's not even defining total income, to be honest. It's telling you how to calculate total income, which is work out for yourself what income is, and then add up all the income to reach total income. New Zealand likes to do what Australia does, which is go on, Australia spreads it out over hundreds of pages, basically so you lose heart and give up. So here's what New Zealand says. Income means income. That's part Y, section 1, the whole lot of bits. But income means income. And then they refer you to section BD11. So at section BD1 it says an amount is income if it is income. And then at part C it says an amount is income if it is income. 2, an amount is income if it is income under ordinary concepts. Don't worry, they don't find ordinary concepts either. Let's go to the Australian Code. Income Tax Assessment Act 1936, Section 6, which is the definition section of the 1936 Act. It says assessable income has the meaning given in subsection 995.1.1 of the Income Tax Assessment Act 1997. You'll see there's no definition of income, but they don't even give you a definition of assessable income here. This is a definition section of the 36 Act, and they say the definition is go and have a look somewhere else. This is section, this is the 1997 Act, subsection 995.1. Assessable income has the meaning given by sections 6.5, 10, 15, 17, 10, 17, 30. In other words, go and have a look somewhere else. And you see below, assessable income has the meaning given by section 6.3 of the Income Tax Transitional Provisions Act. In other words, still on the goose chase here, fellas. Go and look somewhere else. Let's go to section 6.5. Your assessable income includes income. Bang. Your assessable income includes income. Okay, so they're not defining what income is. They're defining what assessable is. Then goes on to say, assessable income includes income according to ordinary concepts, which is called ordinary income. So assessable income includes ordinary income. Well, then I've highlighted ordinary income here and they put an asterisk in there. That's their asterisk. Down the bottom it says to find definitions of asterisk terms. So ordinary income is an asterisk term. See the dictionary starting at section 995.1. Well, we were just there, but no worries, we'll go back. Let's go to section 995.1. Definition of ordinary income in section 995.1. Ordinary income has the meaning given by section 6.5. What? That's where we just came from section 6.5, folks. In section 6.5, it said to find the definition of ordinary income, come here, where we are now. We get here and it's saying, go back there. So this is just a loop. This is a loop. It's ridiculous. This is how bad it is. When you see them mucking you around like this, you should start to think, what are they trying to hide? They're trying to hide something. Why not just put the definition in the definitions section? Why all this mucking around? It's not for no reason. Or you go back to section 6.5. The only mention here is your assessable income includes income according to ordinary concepts, which is called ordinary income. That's the only thing you'll find in section 6.5, referring to ordinary income, where you could try and even locate some sort of definition. Meaningless circular logic. We can go better than that because we've got absolute confirmation from the Australian Taxation Office that the Act doesn't define income. So this is a letter that I've used elsewhere. This is a Freedom of Information Act request by Douglas Cameron to the Australian Taxation Office. He requested a number of things, and in this video we're going to focus on the first two paragraphs where he's requesting a definition of the term income. Response from the Australian Taxation Office to Doug Cameron. This occurred on the 27th of April 1999, and Doug's requested a definition of the term income. So the second paragraph, this is what it says. The term income is not defined in the Income Tax Assessment Act 1936. However, included in section 6 are definitions of the terms income from personal exertion and income from property. I have enclosed a copy of these definitions. I just tell you straight off the cuff. They've said the term income is not defined in the Act. So the fact that there's a definition of income from personal exertion and income from property is meaningless. None of those will define income. If they haven't defined income, then a definition of income from personal exertion will just define what personal exertion is. And a definition of income from property will just define what property is. It won't define income itself. None of these codes define income. There's a very good reason they don't want to do it. And as it happens, the law dictionaries all define the term income. Okay? Anderson's Law Dictionary 1889. So income sometimes is synonymous with profits, the gain, as between receipts and payments. Okay? And down below, income is the gain. Valentine's. Income. A word having different meanings dependent upon the connection in which it is used. For tax purposes, the gain, including profit gained, profits earned. Black's Law Dictionary. Income, the gain, including profit or gain. Income is a gain, a profit. Ordinary income. Here's ordinary income from Valentine's. Ordinary income, income. And another one, ordinary income, gain. The correct definition of income is very closely tied to the notion of profit and gain. So why are they hiding this? Well, it's quite simple. No man or woman can ever make a profit or a gain by exchanging their natural talents and skills for anything. I'll just explain profit and gain. We'll see that the only type of creation that can have a profit or gain is a corporation. A living man or woman cannot make a profit or gain. When you go and you work, let's say you work for an hour, and let's say you're highly skilled, so you're getting $100 for your hour's work. Is that income? Well, as we've seen, if it's income, then it's a profit or a gain. So you've got $100. Did you give anything to get that $100? Yes, you gave your time. You gave your inherent capacities, mental, physical, spiritual even, and you exchanged them for that money. A corporation calculates a profit or gain. It says, hey, I bought this tin of beans for $1. I sold it for $2. I made a profit or gain of $1. What about you? What did you do? Well, you gave an hour of your ability and time in exchange for $100. What's the value of that hour of your time and ability? Isn't it $100? So you gave a value of $100 and in return for that you received $100. So what's your profit or gain? So let's look at whether a company makes a profit or gain. You work for a company now, okay, and the company pays you $100 an hour, and that company turns around and sells your labour to another party who wants your labour for $200. Well, does the company make a profit or gain? Well, they receive $200 and they pay you $100. They have a profit or gain of $100. Why does a company have a profit where you don't? Because a company doesn't have any real tangible existence. A company didn't give any time or any inherent skills to the selling of that tin of beans. Because a company has nothing to give. That's why a company, or a corporation I should say, a corporation makes a profit or a gain. Because a corporation has no inherent nature. Because a corporation doesn't exist. It's a fiction of law. It's something that only exists in your imagination. A corporation has no value to give. So where a corporation can be used in a situation where it ends up receiving something for which it gave nothing, that is a profit or gain. But you always give something for what you receive. And it's inherent in the transaction that whatever you receive is fair compensation for what you gave. So it's of equal value. So you're exchanging, a living man or woman exchanges things of equal value in their eyes. So if you're working for $100 an hour, then you've determined that $100 is equal compensation for what you're going to supply in terms of your time and your talents. But a company has no time because a company doesn't exist. And a company has no talents because a company doesn't exist. It's just, what is a company? Well, it's a mental construct. But fundamentally, what tangible evidence is there that a company exists? Well, there's a pile of papers in a drawer somewhere. I mean, does Coca-Cola exist? Can you go out and have a discussion with Coca-Cola? No. You can have a discussion with a representative of Coca-Cola, an employee. You can't talk to Coca-Cola itself because it doesn't have any existence. It's not a tangible being. And this is why there's no definition of income in any of the tax acts. Because they don't want you to realise that the meaning of income is tied to the notions of profit or gain. And that no man or woman can have profit or gain. In terms of profit or gain, think of it this way. If you go out and work for an hour and you get $100 and you say that whole $100 is your income, then what you're effectively saying is what you gave in return for that $100 was worthless. It had no value. Because you're saying the whole lot is income. Everything I received is income, which means that you got $100 and you did nothing to get it. You gave nothing of value to get it. So the end conclusion, folks, is that only corporations ever have income. And a living man or woman can't have income. It's not possible for you to have income. Not from your own labour anyway. Not from exchanging your labour, time and talent or something else. Another video, this is on what it says in the Australian tax code as to who the tax code applies to. And when we've gone through it, you will see that they've used deceptive language, but when you cipher through the deceptions in the language, you will see that only that what they're actually saying, when you decipher through it all, is that the tax code only applies to corporations. But it's hidden in a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors. So that on a superficial reading, you'll say, oh, okay, I have to pay income tax.